Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch. Every once in a while, we talk about something else crafty, and today, with the exception of one thing that was inspired by something, it is all cross stitch. I have a little bit of paper to show you today, but mostly cross stitch. If you are new, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. I hope you like what you see. Hit like, subscribe, introduce yourself so I know more about you. And yeah, let's talk stitching and everything else that's fun. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. My stitchy friend, thank you for coming back and stitching with me, watching, talking about stitching stuff with me, all that good stuff. I'm a little rambly this morning, I feel like already. Oops. All right, so I have 8 projects to show you. I had some days where I felt like I was just at 6s and 7s and didn't really know what to do with myself, even with stitching. And then some days I had some good stitching days. I have 2 finishes. One was a start and a finish, and one was a finish that I was hoping to get. I was a little surprised maybe that I did get it today, this week, but it's done. So I'm super excited to show that to you. And then a bunch of just projects that we are just continuing to work on. Okay, so let's get started. I have 2 full coverage pieces that I'm going to show you this week. One that'll be the first piece I show you, and one that's the last. Do I have a rhyme or reason on how I show you projects? Pretty much just I look at how I stitch them because I do keep track of what I've stitched on a given day. And I sort of go in order. I mean, this first piece, I stitched a little bit of time for several days, but I just go by the first day I stitched it. So there's a little bit of order, not always. It kind of sometimes gets messed up, but that's okay. All right, so you had seen this last week and I gave it some more time. And it is Mini Ferris Morning. And it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs and the artist at Uliana, Babenko. And as usual, I am up in this top corner. Now, you see over here with this window pane, that's specifically where I am really stuck. It's a little bit of the curtain and then up a little bit. There's a lot of confetti on that. So I got a little bogged down with it, which is why I actually did give it probably, I try to do maybe 100 stitches at least a day. Sometimes if I'm zipping along, I might be able to do more. So it probably got 500-600 stitches, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell much of a difference. There it is. So 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. This area right here, like I said, it is chock-a-block full of confetti, and then over this way as well. I was getting almost a little discouraged because I was giving this the time and I really wasn't seeing a lot. And then one of you, my stitchy friends, had posted this past week that you're stitching this as well, but the full coverage one, not the mini, and that this area was really full of confetti. But then there were a lot of other areas, and I'm looking at it saying I could see that, where it's not quite as confetti heavy. So that really made my day when you said that, because I was getting a little discouraged with this. And in fact, on Tuesday, I said, okay, that's enough. I'm going to put it away and work on Wednesday. You know, I worked on it Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I pulled out a different one because I was getting a little burnt out on the confetti part. And even though I did try at times to do some other colors, as you come down here with the window pane, oops, I think there is something stuck on there. There we go. As you come down on the window pane, there is long stretches of a specific color, but you know, if I keep ignoring this part, it's never going to get done. So I kept making myself find some pieces to work on with confetti. So I think I needed a break. So as much as I love this, this is going to go and be put aside for, I don't know, whenever I feel like picking it up again. And I had really wanted to work on the piece that you'll see later on. So it was a welcome change. But that's where it is. I figured before I put it away for now, that's where we are. So that is Mini Ferris Morning. Okay, now, non-full coverage. Although a couple of my smaller pieces could be classified as full coverage because they're pretty much mostly stitched. But this one is not. This is called the Nubble from By the Bay Needleart. And that is a picture of Nubble Lighthouse. In, technically, I guess it's York, right? York, Maine. So, now it's one of those, it's kind of a crazy, cloudy, weird, light day this morning. And not super warm. It was, I'd say 65 this morning, 66. So it's actually probably good walking weather. I should be walking right now, but I'd rather spend some time with you all. So that's what I'm gonna do instead. But the white is definitely kind of washing out there. So this right here is where I am. This is, you're gonna actually see a lot of 18 count white Aida today. You know that's not normally me, but it just happened to be this week how my projects fell. Plus the full coverages are always on that. But that's where I am. I did quite a bit on this one. I think I've got all of the sky-ish stuff done. This is done, worked my way down here. Now I'm working way back here. And I had told you this last week. I love working on this piece because it gives me wonderful memories of Maine vacations. The one thing I don't necessarily want to complain about, because it's not necessarily a complaint, it's a critique of the pattern itself. And I don't know if all By the Bays are like this. It's my only one that I own by the Bay. And I love quite a few of her patterns. But if you see right here, if I bring it up super close, there's a lot of back stitching because of the fencing and all of that. Well, when you look at the pattern is essentially, it's symbols that are, say, printed in there. But the back stitch is such a heavy line. It almost looks like it was drawn. I'm sure it wasn't drawn, but it's such a heavy line that in some cases it obliterates the symbol. I'm not 100% sure what the symbol is in some cases. So I'm kind of guessing and flying blind, especially down here, because that's where a lot of the fence is. And so it's heavily showing backstitch lines. And so it's a little bit difficult. I don't know if other patterns of By the Bay are like that, but just something that I've had to work around just a little bit, which is why I think I went this way rather than working down this way, because I was looking at that saying, okay, I'm gonna have to guess at what some of the symbols are, what makes sense in the pattern. So it's gonna be a little bit more time intensive figuring this part out, even though this is a fairly simple pattern. So I kind of deferred that for a later date, and I said, let's go this way because it's a lot easier over there. So that's what I did. But I love it, and I just kept it super simple. Like I said last week, thinking about it, there are lots of other ways I could have gone, and I'm not quite sure why I chose just white, but I think I liked how it looked in the picture, and I just wanted the actual scene to pop out. So that's why I went with the white. But that's where it is. Okay, now this one you haven't seen in a while. I figured I would pull it out because if I worked at it, of course this is the case with many of our projects, right? I mean, if we gave it some serious consideration and time, we'd probably get them done. But you know, there's so many fun things to stitch, you kind of stretch it around a little bit. Oh, that's strange. I'm not sure why that. Oh, here we go. That's why I had an extra tab open. This next one I had started last year, the end of last year. It is 2x2 stitch art. It's called Northern Lights. I'm trying to get it without the reflection of the window there. And if you go to 2x2 stitch art, who is having, I want to say, a 50% off sale right now. Let me see. So this one normally is a $4.50. This pattern is $2.25. Now this is, what is today's date? I don't even, oh, it's the 24th. I have it written on my notes. Today is June 24th, so I don't know how long the sale would last. But if you were to search Northern Lights, for example, I think I just put in the term Northern so I could get the pattern quickly. There is, oh, and you know what? I can show you because I had kept the search. Look, they also have the exact same pattern in a beautiful pinks and purples. So if you like the pattern, you have a choice of either the different blues and teals or the pinks and purples. Connor had chosen this pattern, and so he really liked these colors. I don't know if he had considered the other one or not, but this is the one he went with, and so that's what I went with. This is, guess what, 18 count white Aida. I know why I picked that, because it's essentially full coverage. There's no openings of fabric, so I went with the white. And that's where it is. I got some good progress on this one. Now, I stitched this one with it's digital, but I just like doing the paper patterns most of the time. I will eventually transition over, but you know, right now this is what I know and I'm comfortable with, and I'll spread that out, but right now there's too many things going on that I just want comfort when it comes to the stitching part. When I started this, I didn't make a working copy, which is, look at it, it's ridiculous because every single one of these colors is a different color. So about halfway through, I said to myself, what are you doing? I made a working copy, and all of a sudden it was so much easier to stitch on this because I could tell what I had actually stitched. So it is coming along. I did end up finishing the circle, so the circle is done. I'm off somewhere by 1 there, but it did line up, and I think it doesn't look skewed or off, so I think it'll be fine. If I have to, I can backtrack and add another stitch somewhere if I have to, but I'm not going to worry about it. I think it's fine. And then I worked a lot on here, and then I've been going back and kind of filling in here. This down here, when I get to it, will be easy because I want to say it is all black. Because some of the trees and the like, they are deep, deep navy. I want to say 939. I don't have this stuff with me right now. And then on this side, as you come all the way down, it's black. And it is charted as 310, and I did pull out 310. I don't know, I think because we were stitching this, Connor was going to try to stitch it, and he got to start up here. And then I was also stitching at the same time. And so I pulled flosses for both him and I just pulled 310. That was what I grabbed, I think, at Michael's or something at the time. So I didn't bother changing it over to Anchor, which I usually do with the blacks. But that's where it is. And again, if I give this some time, I do think I could get really good progress. This should be a finish by the end of this year. I should make myself think about that, because I do think if I really settled down and gave it even once a month, twice a month, I could get this one done. And then it would be less than I think I started at the end of last year. So if I can finish it by the end of this year, it wouldn't be any more than a year old. So we'll see. Maybe, you know, I really don't have any rhyme or reason to what I pick up and stitch each day. Sometimes I may have an idea of what I want in the course of a week, but I honestly don't know. Every single day is an adventure. All right, I gotta be careful of this one because there is the full size part of the pattern on the behind of this page. This is Sailing Dreams by Barbara Anna, and that's what it looks like. And when I first saw this, you know, I looked at it and I said, okay, I don't want to do it on what it's stitched on. I'd like to change it up a little bit. And my first go-to would have been blue, because especially anything oceany and all that would be blue. But there's a lot of different shades of blue and some blue greens. And so the blues that I would normally go with, a lot of the colors would have faded in. And what you're going to see, for example, the colors of the clouds, they're not in your face pop, but I'm okay with that because I want that to be kind of a background, the clouds and so on and so forth. I want her to be in the foreground. And I'm up here. I started actually right top middle is what I ended up doing. So you're going to see all up here. But I did do part of I'm looking at the back and the pattern's much taller than, so where I'm circling, you're like, there's nothing there to stitch, Laura. I'm over in this area. And I love these colors on this fabric. So she's going to be in the foreground, and things like the clouds and the seagulls and even some of the boats with the sails will be in the background. And I like that. It might not be your cup of tea, but I'm really happy with this. So I went completely, ooh, let's see if we can show it with this light, but there it is. This is 18 count Night Fever from Fortnight Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month, a recent one, which I have one other project going right now in Fortnight Fabric. And I have to say, Aida is not all equal. Even from hand dyers, the feel of a certain piece is not all equal. And you have to find what works for you, whether you like really soft, maybe you like stiffer. This is definitely that in-between sweet spot between, too stiff Aida and too soft Aida. It's a joy to stitch on. However they happen to do their dyeing process, and I assume everybody starts with the same white Aida. It's beautiful. It really is. So if you have a chance to try a piece of their fabric, I would say give it a go. Now this is the Aida. I have no idea what any of their other fabrics would feel like. And coloring, this is specifically 18 count. But there she is. Look at those. So this is actually a lot of blue-green with some blue. It's not quite as dark a blue as I would have thought looking at the picture quickly. And you wouldn't necessarily even know there was blue-green looking at the picture. But I think she's really gonna pop. Once I get all of her on there, I think it's gonna be so cool. So that's what it looks like. And this was, short of also giving a little bit of time to my full coverage, I want to say this was mostly one day. I did pick this up on another day for just a short period of time because I wanted a little bit more of this done just so I could see it on this fabric to make sure I was happy with the fabric. And I am. So that is Sailing Dreams from Barbara Anna, my very first Barbara Anna stitch, and I'm really enjoying it quite a bit. And I really like a lot of those. I've seen other people stitch, Dreaming Girl and some of the other patterns, and they're really beautiful. So I think I might have to try a few others as well. So that's a lot of fun. It's always so fun to discover somebody that you haven't stitched and you really like their patterns and how they do the patterns and design them to make it easier for you to stitch. Really enjoying it. Okay. Ooh, I don't want that. There we go. Next, I pulled out Autumntown from Autumn Lane Stitchery. I'm kind of switching. I have this and Serena Sprout going from Autumn Lane right now, and I'm kind of switching between them. I really want to get this one finished. So I said this week, it's going to be Autumntown week. So that's what we did. All right, now I have to hold the bottom so I can show you all of it. That's where it is. This is an 18 count Fallen Leaf from To Die For Fabrics. And you know how I completely disregarded my own plan. See, I told you this is why I can't plan. I had said basically, okay, I finished here. So this is as tall as it's going to be. I said, all right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work and I'm just going to slowly work my way across. So what did I do this week? I promptly ignored that and I worked all the way over here. I don't know why. So I actually can fold it a little bit more so I can hold it and come over here. I extended the pathway, all of this. I do have a counting error. I think, I have a piece or two that I have to fill in over here on the roof there. Somewhere on the roof of this building, I made a counting error. And so I want to say this tower is actually maybe, or no, next to the tower, something or other, is a little bit wider than it's supposed to be. Yeah, I think it's next to the tower there. This is a strand or somewhat a little bit wider, which is fine. You're not going to be able to know the difference unless I told you. But I think that's why I decided, okay, because I'm going to forget. And then how I might stitch this, I might stitch off of here and still work on the mistake. So I decided I wanted to do the pathway and then work my way in. And so there might be a little fudging around here, but now as I get lower and I work off of this in, I think my mistake will fix itself. So again, so much for my plans of how I'd stitch this. So I'm not even going to commit to where I will stitch next time on this one. I'm just going to say somewhere. So much fun. Love the colors. Love the colors. So that's Autumntown. Okay. Now we have my finish. I am super excited. Last time I had stitched on this, I thought I was close, but I wasn't sure if I'd need one stitching day, and I did. It was just one afternoon, one morning. I don't remember when I stitched on this, but it took me just a dedicated little chunk of time, and I was able to get it finished. And I'm talking about Tutor B from the Blue Flower. I started this piece in February because I was doing the hashtag BEE, Be My Own Valentinesal, that was hosted by Carla. I have just go craft. Oh my gosh, Carla! It's not like I don't watch you every week. I'll link Carla down below, and you all are yelling at me what her channel name is, and I've just had one of those brain moments where I can't even think of it, even though craft. Oh, I'm not even gonna try because then I'll just fumble for the next 5 minutes. It's Carla. Anyway, I did it for her Sal, her stitch along, and as usual, I did change it up. I didn't use the light colored fabric. I did change it. Now, these are beautiful. They're deceptive on how many color changes there are. I was doing some fill-ins, and you do 4 stitches here, and then 6 stitches here, and then change your color, and so on and so forth. So near the end, what I did was I took whatever symbol, and I said, just finish all of that wherever you can, then go to the next one. And that seemed to work pretty well, because then I was able to get a finish. So, enough talking about it. Look! Isn't that lovely? It's beautiful the way it's charted. I think that goes without saying, because would I have chosen it otherwise? Probably not, because it wouldn't have called to me. But I love it. This is an 18 count Blue Moon from To Die For Fabrics. So it is a not super light blue, but on the lighter side. And it is a blue. It's not warmer, I would say more on the icy side, but it's so pretty. And these colors, as soon as I started stitching this, I loved the colors on this. So I am so excited to get a finish on this one. And I loved it. I loved the stitch. I will admit, near the end, with all of the tiny little color changes, I was getting a little bit done with it, so to speak. But I was so close to the end and finishing it that was my kind of little push to get it done. Super excited. No idea what I'm doing with this. Whether it goes in the stitching scrapbook, whether or not I just do a simple finish and plop it up when I have some shelves. I don't know. I have no idea. That's all in limbo. I feel like my summer is in limbo. Life is in limbo. I know I'm being dramatic. That's really kind of silly. But anyway, that's where I am. Super excited to get a finish. And if you have not stitched this one, it is a lot of fun. I say go for it. Alrighty. What do we have? Just 2 more? I'm zipping along today. This might be a shorter video. My start and my finish. This one was, they're not all like this, but this one was definitely an easy start and finish. In fact, because a lot of times if I start and finish these in a week, a lot of times they get a little bit of time more than one day. But this one was a one-day deal because each of the oranges is 2 colors, and where you see the candle, it is a white and an ecru. But for the most part, it was really easy to follow. So it's day 17 right there. So that was definitely a quickie. In fact, the flame itself is also 2 colors. So every part of it is a 2-color bit, but very easy to do. So This week it was this is really a beautiful color. It's a gray with some purple undertones. I could see it using it for other things besides just Halloween. It's called Haunting. It's an 18 count, this version, by Fabrics by Stephanie. And it's quite beautiful. I have to say, I really do. Let me see. I have it here because I've been cutting pieces from it. But this is what's left so far that I have of it. Isn't that beautiful? It's definitely purple tones to the gray. And it really is quite pretty. Anyway, you know me and pretty fabrics. Let's go back. I'm like is it the magpie with the shiny things? They get distracted. Pretty fabrics distract me. Anyway, that's what it looks like. So on this one, we have day 13 and we have day 17. I think next is the kind of midnight tryst blue for the next day. If I remember correctly, because I'm doing each of these on different colors. So day 18, actually, if that's all one color, I don't know if it is. Day 18's right here. That one should go pretty quick too. But I noticed on some of the other ones, I didn't give myself a lot of space in between the stitched pieces. And I mean, I'm doing a simple finish on these. I mean, pretty much just kind of a flat, because if I want to do an ornament-ish thing, or even if I were to make it a banner, it would still be an ornament-ish kind of thing. So I don't think I needed this much space. So now I'm not sure. It might be tight if I do one here. I'll have to see if I'll have to see when this color comes up again, if it's a skinnier one that I can get away with. Although they're all kind of the same size because the blocks are all the same. I don't know, we'll see. So there might be some creative corners because I'd hate to miss out on all of that fabric. But day 17, tiny modernist Halloween calendar. So much fun. It'd be beautiful. I'd love to see it. If any of you have stitched it as a whole, I bet it's gorgeous. I'd love to see a picture. Even just direct me to, if you have an Instagram or whatever, to the picture. But it's so much fun stitching these individually. And now I chose not to use the border around each one. But if you watch Janet Jabber, Janet is stitching the border around each one. And you may like that look. It's pretty because it looks finished. I was just concerned as I was finishing these if I had to worry about keeping a border straight every time. Janet's a far better finisher than I am, so I don't think she's going to have any trouble. But if you wanted to see, she's on day, I think she just finished day 3. So she's done 3 weeks worth, or 3 days worth. And so if you go back, you can see what it looks like with the block around it. If you decide you want to do them singly, you may like that look a little bit better because it frames it. So lots of different ways you can do it, but that's an option. All right, let me put the fabric back in so I don't lose it and put this over here. And then my last piece, this one was my second full coverage I pulled out. And, oh, this one goes back this way because it's more horizontal than vertical. I haven't stitched this one in a while because it's a regular size. It's not a mini. But it's not like the gigantic regular sizes. It's 425 by 318. So, I mean, it's big enough, don't get me wrong, but it's not, you know, your 600, 700 size. It is Hidden Harbor, and the artist is Andy Russell, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So that's what it looks like. Again, I'm up here. I've started to get in here, and I am working my way. I'm almost done, I think, with the dark blue. Because every once in a while, I work in a bunch of strands of that just to kind of change up. That's what I've got so far. I'm super excited to get back to this one. I stitched this on Wednesday and Thursday. And again, I just gave it a little bit of time, maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on what I'm watching. Sometimes I do, you know, either one episode of a show or a Flosstube, or maybe 2, depending on the size, the lengths of something. And then I kind of put it away. So I did, as usual, I jumped around. I did bring this across here. I worked on some of this. I came back and filled in some of the confetti here. What's nice about this is the confetti is not, in a few cases, it's like 1 stitch or 2 stitch, but because you've got the colors going across. Right now, it's larger strands and a bit more pieces. I'm looking at this pattern, and as you go farther down, I haven't really looked at the pattern, so I'm thinking the confetti may pick up, but for now, it hasn't. So I really enjoyed stitching this, and this will get some time next week because I'd like to see a bit more done. This is, so date or page, well, it wouldn't be 2, whatever, I don't know. I finished one page and I've gone into another here, and across, I don't know if I finished 2 pages. No, I think I'm just at the finish of 2 pages up top. So again, just kind of working my way all over the place. But I love the colors in this one. So pretty, and so I really enjoy it. I enjoy looking at all the colors of the floss, and oh, what am I gonna work on? What color? I did deep blues, I did bright blues, I did peaches and yellows and greens. So it was just so many great colors came out this week. Loved it. Hidden Harbor. Okay. So you will see this one next week, and most likely you'll see a Halloween day 18. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to see next week. I don't know what I'm going to see next week. So that's that. That's all of my stitching and my plans. I don't know. Those are my plans. I do want to find a pink. I'm looking at the spring samplery thing from Jardin Privé. So I think I'd like to pick a pink on that because Mo sees the doctor next week for his 2-week follow-up from surgery. I don't know how or when physical therapy starts after that. So I want to have that project figured out. I think I'd probably start that one first because I'm waiting on some fabrics for the other Owl Forest one. So before I commit to that, I might start this one first. So, and that's smaller, so the fabric might be easier to handle as I take it on a kind of a travel stitch. So we'll see. I do want to look at my pinks because I think I do want to do a shade of pink somehow or other. So coming up to see. So if I pick a fabric, I will show you. I have a whole bunch of projects that I'd like to stitch. I just need to pick fabrics. If I do that, maybe I can show you a parade of them and you can see what might be coming down in the stitching world for me. Okay, I have 2 pieces of happy mail that I wanted to share, and one I wanted to show you. It inspired me to do something of my own, so I thought that was so cool. That is wonderful. So I got a beautiful, beautiful card, and these are Stampin' Up, I think. It's handmade. It's from Deb. Isn't that beautiful? And it says, hugs, prayers, love. There's some sequins on it. They must be glued, yeah. Sequins on there. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. So this design, this week Mo asked me he needed a card for somebody retiring. And it was a woman retiring because, man or woman sometimes dictates what I do. But because it was being sent from him, I didn't want to send something too flowery because as soon as he told me that, he told me, I think the day after I received this, I said, oh, this design kind of inspired me, but I didn't want to do flowers. So it's a little bit different, but I want to show you I'll show you the inspiration after I show you my card. That's what I came up with. The image stamp is a Stampin' Up. The word stamp is paper tray. And so this inspired this. So thank you, Deb. Little did you know that not only were you sending me beautiful happy mail, but you were inspiring me. My takeaways. 1, how I have decided to store my paper crafting materials is completely unusable. It's not going to work because I spent half the time looking for things and figuring out how I had stored it. So that's not going to work. I have to rethink my paper products stamping storage. 2, I really enjoyed doing this. So that's fun. I'm hoping to get back into some more paper crafting, which then may also help me with my stitching scrapbook. And 3, I might do I might be thinking that I want to do some paper crafting videos. They would be shorter because I would probably pick a design and show how it was created. Those are usually, it's funny, I follow every once in a while, I watch some paper crafting designs or paper crafting YouTube channels, and they all seem to do, their videos a lot of times seem to be like 10, 12 minutes. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Of course, you know I ramble, so I probably would talk longer than that. So I might use this design as my first paper crafting. I don't know what I'll call the segment yet. Obviously, if you're not interested in paper crafting, you would just skip that video and wait till my stitching videos come out. But anybody interested in paper crafting, we might want to interact that way too, because I have the stuff. It's not doing any good just sitting here. I'd like to use it. And I know some of you, because I've gotten some beautiful handmade cards, I know some of you are interested, so we'll see. I am thinking about how I would set it up and how I would do it, and be on the lookout. There might be some extra videos that are more paper crafting in nature than just these regular stitching ones. So thank you for the inspiration. I know if you look at it real quick, you'd be like, how did that, but it totally inspired me, and it totally got me thinking about how I wanted to do that card. So thank you. And then a stitchy friend sent me a couple of pieces in the mail. One was blue flower. So this is now another blue flower pattern I have, and it's called Acorns. That's really cool. I've seen somebody stitching this. Who? Somebody on Flosstube I saw stitching this. Probably multiple, right? I mean, it's really pretty. And I don't know what color fabric. I wouldn't stitch it on this. I mean, it's beautiful on this. It's 40 count Highland from Picture This Plus. But you know, this is begging for a color change for fabric. So we'll see. On this one, it's charted in, over-dyed flosses, but they give DMC alternatives, but in several cases, they give a blend of 2 different colors. Interesting. Okay, so this one might be kind of cool. So thank you. That's really neat. And then, one of the pieces is missing. Oh, I know why. Hold, please. Okay. I put it in one other place. I was given this person, this stitchy friend, knows how much I love magazines and going through them. So they sent me the 2020. And they sent me the August 2022. So cool. Isn't that beautiful? I haven't even looked through these yet. I want to sit down with my cup of tea. You know how I like to do that. I take my cup of tea and I sit down. Oh, one morning it might be nice out in the back porch. Oh, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then browse to these magazines. Super excited. So thank you so much, friend. You know who you are. I really appreciate that. All right, so that was my happy mail. Super cool. Then I have the teeniest bit of shopping to show you. You want to guess what it is? I know you know. You know, because what do I always buy? What's the one thing I always buy? Yes, if you're yelling fabric, it's true. So I went, where else but to Dye for Fabrics. Kimberly, she gets me, and oh, there's something coming. I don't know if it'll be this week. I think it'll be another week because she has to dye a few pieces for me. But I'll talk about it when I get it. But these 2 pieces came from Kimberly's Ready to Ship from To Dye for Fabrics. So she puts ready to ship items in. I ordered just ready to ship, and it literally shipped the next day. So quick. So if you are looking for a piece for a project and you want it very quickly, order from the ready to ship and just order that, because if you order then dyed pieces as well, she's got to dye it and then send it. But these came so quickly. This one, so cool. Now they don't have names because they are just, I think, one-offs. The fabric color, she has a number down there. I don't know if she keeps track of these to ever replicate. And these are 18 count aidas, so keep that in mind too. But look at this beautiful. It's funny. It's not jade, but it is along the jade lines. It has, if you look quick, you might say a little blue, but it's green-ish, but very much on a jade kind of fabric line. Isn't that beautiful? So there's that one. And then, you know there had to be a blue. There's always a blue. If she has blue available, I always look at it. Look at this one. Oh, I don't even know if it's showing. Maybe that's showing it better. It's a bright blue. It's definitely like a Caribbean kind of blue in that sense. Think about a beautiful Caribbean ocean. And think about that kind of sparkling blue color. That's what this one reminds me of. Oh, and look. Oh my gosh. I match. No wonder I like these colors. I didn't even plan that. Wow. I have a pink version of this top as well. And I almost went with that, but I think because I wore kind of pinks and peaches a lot lately, I said, oh, let's go with the blue. Look at that. That's really funny. Wow. Anyway, so I picked up from Kimberly some ready to ship fabrics. She's linked down below in the description box. So feel free to check out. And like I said, if you just order the ready to ship, they come quick. It's the post office that would hold it up, not her. So there we go. That's my shopping. I do have another order from her done. Let me grab my giveaway stuff, but that's not here yet. So I'll let you know when it gets here. All right, giveaways. See, I didn't have a lot of shopping and stuff, so that's where this video might get a little shorter. Giveaways this week, I talked about, we were going purple, all purple. I have this Petite Chenille, trying to say the two words at once, 3 yards. It's in lilac, and it's dyed from Vintage Needlearts. That's their card, and then that's the color. And then this is also, did I say Twinery? Who's this from? Yeah, it's from the Twinery, which is a Baker's Twine company that I no longer think might be available, unless they were bought out by somebody else. So I have this, which is also called lilac. So you have two different kind of shades of lilac. What's beautiful though, one's dark, one's light. So whether or not you mix and match together or you use for 2 different projects is totally up to you. And I am going to cut you off 3 yards of this. So you'll have a total of 6 yards, 3 from each. So that was this week's giveaway. I asked you to say the word purple. And mix those around. Grab a name. I always grab a huge chunk and then I have to go back and forth and grab one. Okay, who do we have? Oh, let's see. We'll go with this. We'll go with the green. I think this will show up. Bio Boy Stitcher. Congratulations, you won the trims. So if you could get back to me with your address, I will send those finishing pieces out to you. Okay, so that's this week's giveaway. Put that right there. And now, I'm not going to take this out of the plastic. It might I was going to say sparkle, but that's the wrong word. Flash a little bit. But this is a needle minder that I've had for a little bit, and I don't know why. I think it kind of fell down, so I've forgotten to do it as a giveaway. For my friends who love to travel, this would be perfect for you, especially on a travel piece. It says to travel is to live, and it is a picture of a little camera with the words on it. The Little Apple Stitchery is who the needle minder's from. Their Etsy shop is Little Apple Stitchery is actually who it is. And so it's all wrapped up and everything. So I will not take it out. This is the packaging from them. So I will keep it exactly like that. So if you are interested in this needle minder, just say the word, let's do travel, because it has to do with travel, right? To travel is to live. So say the word travel anywhere in your comment, or even just the word travel if you prefer. And I will put your name in the blue bowl for next video. As usual with giveaways, please don't say giveaway, please don't say free. Please be at least 18 so that I can get your address to mail it to you. And I would be immensely grateful if you are a subscriber. I am not going to check. I'm not asking you to be public. You can be a subscriber, but I may not know if you've kept your subscriptions hidden. That's fine. It's all by your honor. So I am trusting you all. So please, if you could, and if you're watching and not subscribing, I'm getting there. I'm trying to get to 3,000, and I have 3 giveaways that will happen on that video after I hit 3,000. So, you know, think about it if you haven't hit that button yet. But yeah, I don't check. I mean, we're all adults here, right? So that's coming up this week. And that's it. That is all of the stitching part. So if you are heading off to another stitching friend, then have a fantastic week. I'll see you before the next holiday. So I won't even wish happy holiday coming up because I'll see you hopefully next week. There's no reason why hopefully I shouldn't. Life stuff. I don't even know what day it is anymore. It's lucky that I knew what day to film. So Mo had his surgery on Thursday. I came at you Friday. He had Thursday off, obviously. He took Friday off to recover. And then on Monday, his company had given them Monday off for Juneteenth. So he had to take 2 days off, but he had a nice 5-day weekend right after surgery, which worked out perfectly. We didn't even plan it that way. But between him being off the end of last week and then having Monday off, I had no idea what day. No clue what day it was at all. So I've been a little bit off this week when it comes to that. You know what helps me is if I go to watch Flosstube, certain Flosstube friends always stitch on certain days. And that helps me. I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday, because I know Janet and Rachel are filming on Tuesday, film on Tuesdays. So if you ever film on off days, you're going to completely mess up my week. But other than that, what have we done? Well, not much, right? He has the knee scooter, so we took a walk around the block a couple times this week, and he actually went to the grocery store with me yesterday. So that was a big deal. And other than that, not much. They have a cornhole league here in our neighborhood, and he was a substitute, but he also had one team in general. He was kind of the go-to sub. So there was a tournament last night. So, and the team that he had done a lot of subbing with, they were in the tournament. So he wanted to go over there. So I took him over there last night, and we watched some of the cornhole tournament. It was a beautiful night. So why not get out a little bit? So again, we brought his scooter in the end because I said we can bring a chair and try to prop your leg up, but the scooter had the leg propped up enough, and we didn't stay for the full thing. So so that seemed to work out okay. The thing is heavy though. I mean, I had to get it in and out of the van, and getting it out of the van is fine, but bringing it in, sometimes I'm like, wow, it's kind of heavy. But this thing is, it's all terrain, so it's heavy, you know, kind of thing. So I said, well, if you want to go off-roading with your knee scooter, I suppose you're okay to do so. But anyway, that's where life is right now. I joked with him this weekend. So this morning when we woke up, it was very cloudy and kind of foggy-ish, and I was like, oh, what's the weekend supposed to be like? And now it's actually, since I've talked to you, almost all the clouds, they're fluffier over there, and then that's all blue sky over here. So apparently the day has gotten a little nicer. But I said, oh, what's the weekend gonna be like? Although it really doesn't matter, because I know what we're doing, whether it's pouring rain or it's a beautiful weather. We're home, maybe walking around the block. So that's pretty much exactly what we're doing. And it turned out it's gonna be a beautiful weekend here. I think 80 on Saturday, 81 on Sunday, and sunny. So maybe a little bit of sit outside in the porch. We have a screened-in porch in the back, and I don't know if it's the way, you know, there's us as houses, and then there's houses behind us, the street behind us. And I mean, our lots are not big, so we're fairly close, but there is a row between the houses that I wonder if it's kind of like a wind, I don't want to call it tunnel, but it always seems breezier in the back rather than on, we have little small. We have 2 Adirondack chairs that fit on a front porch in the front. And so sometimes we sit out there. But out back, it's a little breezier. So if it's kind of warm, but there's a little breeze, sometimes it's really nice sitting out there because you get the combo not being cold, but you know, if the air is moving as opposed to kind of the stagnant air. So maybe that's where we'll be spending some time this weekend. So that's the extent of my weekend plans. What are you all doing this weekend? Anything fun? Going anywhere? Doing anything? I'd love to hear about it because I'm gonna have to live through all of you this summer. I'll be going to doctor's offices and physical therapy visits will be my summer. So I want to hear all about the fun things that all of you are doing. Other than that, that's it. I don't know what day it is, and I am home most of the time. So super exciting. But you all, I hope, are having a wonderful, whether it's summer or winter or whatever it is, wherever you are right now. I hope you are staying either cool or warm, because I hear, who was I watching that it was cool, really cool? I don't remember. Obviously on the other part of the world. Somebody I was watching. It was a little chillier. I don't remember now. I was watching Lynette Peters. But Lynette, I think you said where you were was not as cool as it is in other places. Did I get that right? I think that's what you said. So, because Lynette is on the other side of the world. So, she's getting into a little bit different season than I am right now. But anyway, and if you're not watching Lynette, she's got some really pretty stitches, and she is doing the, oh, there go the fighter jets. We are always the pathway because Dover Air Force Base is down that way. So I don't know where they come from, but you can usually hear them going over. Lynette is stitching Sunflower Cottage Garden. What's it called? I always call it the wrong thing. The Donna Gelsinger piece that I had showed you, I want to say last week. Lynette is stitching that. And she's starting in the same corner I am. So, but kind of fun if you want to see some of her stuff. I'll link her down below. All right, so I've rambled. I rambled enough for someone who's basically just going to be a home buddy. So, so I'll let you go on to the next Flosstuber or stitcher, or you know, whoever friend that you would like to stitch with. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I hope whether you were in your summer or your winter that things are going well for you, and that the weather is not too harsh. You know, either way too hot or way too cold. Kind of like that in between. So I hope maybe you're experiencing some of that for a little bit. And if you are in the hot weather, please, please, please remember, drink lots of liquids, get your water in. I suffer from not getting, as hard as I try, if I don't really try, I can easily get dehydrated, which can give me issues. Dehydration's no joke. So I aim for like 90 ounces a day, I have to say. So it's a struggle sometimes, but please, please, please remember, you know, whether you think you're losing water or not, you are, and you need to make sure you're well hydrated. So that's my tip of the day, or my plea for you. Make sure you're getting enough liquids. And not really the caffeinated ones, but anything else that's, you know, because caffeine, you know, can help make you lose liquid too. So anyway, drink that water as much as you possibly can. And then obviously you can mix it in with, you know, teas that don't have caffeine. Even a lot of foods you eat, especially in the summer, have some great water content. I'm not a huge watermelon fan, but if you are, you'd be getting some great liquids that way too. Okay, so now that I've gone back into my health days of summer and hydration, let's move on. Have a fabulous, fabulous weekend and next week. And until I see you next time, happy stitching.